Hi, welcome to Design Time. I'm Kelly Ellis.
And I'm Lori Dennis, and we are here today at the Forehand Showroom to answer your questions. Kelly, you want to start us off?
I do. So our first question comes from Sassy K 2015. Sassy says, do you have to have a degree to work in interior design? Well, that's a question we get a lot. And as education professionals, and it's what we do, we talk to designers across the country, and it depends on what state you're in. A lot of states regulate and mandate that you have a degree and you have a certain certificate, that you maintain that certificate, that you get your CEUs, and a lot of states don't. So first thing is to check into your state and where you live and make sure that you're not violating any rules, because the worst thing would be to hang your sign, spend the time, spend the money to get your businesses rolling, and then realize that you have to turn around and do some more schooling, do some more education. That's crucial to your area.
And regardless if the state that you're practicing in requires you to have a license or a degree or not, you may want to go ahead and get yourself certified in some type of a design program so that you have higher credibility with the clients and potential clients that you're going to be working with. And that's why it's great that you're listening today at Design Campus, because we've got all the tools you need to be able to make that happen.
That's right. Okay, moving on. Next.
Susie Q22, that's cute. How do you initiate collaboration with architects?
Ooh, well, okay, I don't know about, well, I do know, you have a design build firm, so I'll let you chime in, but I know I reach out to architects, the ones that I've worked with. So you start asking around. If you've seen a beautiful design, most of your interior designers, if they're not already in a firm that has both, is to see, look, if you see a project that you love, find out, start researching, ask who built this, who drew it, who set up the engineering, who is the architect on this project, and then start researching that way, just like you would any other subcontractor, I believe.
Absolutely, and when you're collaborating with architects, they sometimes have a reputation for being a little tough to work with and not really friends of the interior design community. I think Frank Lloyd Wright called us inferior desecrators.
Yeah.
So I think in this day and age, every trade in the business really just wants to have a great product for their client. And what you want to do is you want to find someone, just like when you pick your clients or when you pick your contractors, who you like their style, you like their style of working, you feel comfortable with, they feel comfortable with you. There's actually a collaboration going on and a sharing of information and ideas and a respect for each other's mutual traits.
Absolutely, and that's true of any aspect, like you said. So it's important because that person is going to set the foundation for everything that you do. So you really have to be tight. I know that I've walked into projects post-architectural drawings and it changed a lot of what was happening. And had we had that done in the first place, had that relationship from the beginning, we could have saved the client a lot of money and time and effort, collaborating from the beginning. So.
And I do know from one of our design camp professors, William Hefner, who is a world-class acclaimed architect, that the discipline of architecture is changing drastically, and that the architects are now not only starting with the outside and the shell exterior of the building and then figuring out the spaces inside, but the discipline is really going with a lot of architects to figuring out what needs to happen inside, making those spaces work together, and then considering the outside. So
Smart.
I think that it's really come a long way since the Frank Lloyd Wright days, and the two disciplines, as well as the landscape architects, are all collaborating together. So I think it's an easier process than you might think.
True. Okay, so we're moving on. At Josh Upholstery, I've recently relocated. What's the best way to establish connections in a new area? Well, I know the first thing that I do is I hit the design center. So especially if you're an upholsterer, I'm assuming from the name, that you hit the center so that you can understand some of the best and top designers in the area, people who frequent the markets, frequent the design centers, so that you know who's doing their due diligence and their shopping. And then you can reach out to those designers as a great start. There's always online resources, of course. There's always associations in every area. But I personally like a face-to-face and get a little recommendation behind it and ask around. Say, walk into a shop, a upholstery shop. If you're an upholsterer, I assume, again, go into a fabric store. Go in and see who some of the top designers are, because they're buying fabric and they're reupholstering things, and that's going to get you a good start.
That's great that you said that. I was going to mention you may want to go to the fabric connectors or the fabric showrooms or the fabric companies who you notice are on a lot of the upholstery jobs that you're doing, and somehow do a cross-marketing promotional event with them. Maybe you invite the designers into the showroom. So let's say it's Kravet, that always comes to your showroom, you see it on the tags. You call up, you say, I work with your stuff a lot. I have a lot of projects that I could shoot and things that I can shoot, and I know that your designers are using this fabric. I'd love to get together and make some kind of an event, and maybe it's an educational event where you teach them about repeats on the fabric, or other things that would be useful. You could also do that with a drapery shop.
Oh,
you
yeah.
could partner with another trade. So you want to get outside of your area with people who have the same type of clients that you want and make that happen. And then we just had a YouTube segment, which is on the site. And YouTube 1-minute videos are a great way to tell a little about your shop, about your trade, about what you do, who you are.
Show off some of your work.
Show off some of your work, and just start putting those out on your social media channels.
That's great. Great advice. Moving on.
Clear glass table. Do you prefer residential or hospitality design? What's great about being an interior designer is that I get to be schizophrenic and I get to do all kinds of different things. So generally there's going to be a lot more projects in the residential arena, so I like that aspect for continuous work because I'm not specifically a hospitality designer, but sometimes those people have friends or even own hotels themselves, and it's always fun to dabble in hospitality or retail design and just do something a little bit more amplified than you would do for a residence of a normal person. So I really like both. I know that's kind of a cheap way to get out of answering the question, but because of my schizophrenia, I get to jump the fence, and it's a perfect fit for me.
I have to agree somewhat. A lot of my clients have offices. I always end up doing their home, and then I always end up doing their office. And I like them both for different reasons. The office is, to me, much easier. It's a much easier thing. With the contract fabrics, contract design, there's certain rules. You have ADA, and it's to me, easier in the sense of sourcing. But what's fun is to try to get the personality of the office and show that, or the personality of the business and show that, and sort of delve into something very different. It's a different kind of marketing. With a client, you get into their soul, and try to figure out what makes them tick. It's fun to get into the branding and marketing part of a business and really get into what does this business need to say? How does this business speak? And that's a whole different animal that I really, really enjoy. So I don't know if I like one over the other. Again, probably a cheap way to get out of the question, but they're both really
different.
Yeah, they're so
really
enjoyable
different.
for different reasons.
Right.
It's great.
But don't you agree the message in the contract and hospitality is always kind of...
It's fun. Yeah,
right?
You get to do things that you wouldn't do in residential, that's for sure. Okay. Moving on to Silly Girl 92. I love the Belgian antique look, but it can be expensive. Oh my gosh, so expensive. It's beautiful though. Do you have any suggestions? Well, yes, actually.
That's kind of funny because...
Yes, we happen to be at Four Hands Showroom, and they have a line here at Four Hands. If you have a Four Hands near you, you need to go. It's called the Van Thiel, and it is absolutely beautiful, Van Thiel and Company. They have taken some of the most beautiful antiques ever and have reproduced them into a mass market way. So you will see gorgeous, large scale pieces and finishes that I think are stunning. Thoughts?
Really, they bought the company, Four Hands bought the company, I think about 10 years ago, and it kind of gave a softer side to the Four Hands line. And I love using Four Hands items, but the look was kind of transitioning to this really softer Belgian, European, more traditional kind of a look. And they really started to bring in a lot of these pieces. So the finish, you were mentioning the finish on them, feels like it's 200 years old, and it looks like it's 200 years old, and the price point is really affordable. So they've done these things in a way that feels authentic and special and very antique and not mass produced at all, even though they are at that price point. And it's been a go-to for us.
Absolutely.
For that kind of, that specific look. So.
Well, it's great because obviously you need scale. So if you're looking to Belgian antiques, you're not looking for little mini Victorian chairs. You're looking for large scale, intricate, carved, and so this is a go-to. So don't miss out. Go to your Four Hands. Go check out the Van Thiel and Company because it's a nice soft edge to what they normally do. And let's just talk about what they normally do while we're here.
Well, I wanted to add one more thing. I've used it in almost every single project that I've had since I found out about them. They have these they're actually authentic antique wine bottles that they used to put.
Oh, the barrels.
They're glass.
Oh,
Those
yes,
glass
yes,
bottles.
yes.
They used to put the wine in them. And so it's this opportunity for you to get your clients at a great price point, an actual antique.
So
and
cool.
who doesn't love drinking wine? I mean, they're just such great pieces. So that's just something that's a Lori Dennis signature that you'll see around. But what other kinds of things are we seeing in Four Hands?
Well, they're known for sort of that rustic industrial. So you're going to see a lot of iron, a lot of forged. You'll see a lot of reclaimed wood, which they're really known for. And they put them together in ways that are new. So I know for me right now, a lot of clients love that rustic look, the metal and the iron, but done differently, and a modern aesthetic, lines that are just cool. And I just have to say, just cool. So every time I go in, when I was looking for pieces that I need, that are different, that are just cool, but still have the rustic element, you can't miss here. You really can't. And again, the price points, ridiculous. So it's a go-to spot.
So the company's based in Austin, and I was a kid who grew up on the urban John Travolta and Deborah Winger.
Yeah.
And whenever I think of Four Hands, I always think of Urban Cowboy. It really fits them because they have this very urban kind of a look, but it's also got that kind of the rough and tough leather. And I think now Ralph Lauren is actually doing some pieces in the showroom as well.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it really
yeah.
fits the urban cowboy kind of a look that I love so much. And if you are ever in High Point and attending one of the shows there, make
yeah.
sure you get on that Four Hands party list, because let me tell you something, it is one of the most outrageous and fun parties that you'll ever go to in your life. Forget about
The whole company is fun. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that they're based in Austin, that just tells you a little bit of something about the company. They're a little rock and roll, and they've got a lot of style. So I think it's definitely a visit. I'm glad we're here today. And that's it for us in Design Time. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.